Hello and welcome to Networking for Introverts. I'm Sabrina Schottenhamel. It is May 21st, 2025. And if you are on LinkedIn, you probably saw part one on my newsletter of the AI advantage. If not, that's okay. I will be putting the link so you can go and read it later in the chat. So you'll be caught up. But I'm going to do a little bit of a recap before we get into part two. And then, yeah, we'll just talk about the AI advantage, especially for introverts, and how you can use it to your benefit to save time, to save money, and to not be intimidated by it. Because when it first started coming out and I kept hearing about it, I was very intimidated to use it. I thought maybe it was bad, and obviously it could be used for bad, but for us, we're going to be using it for our advantage. I only use ChatGPT because I know when you start to put your information in there, then it just gets to know you. So if you ask a question, it just says, "Oh, you want to be talking with the introverts." So it's always geared towards the introverts or the professional in the workplace for business owners. So that's why I've just stuck with one, just because I'm trying to let it
It
learn me.
works.
Yeah, it works. Right. Well, thank you all for sharing that. And, if there's anything that I'm covering throughout, take some notes or put it in the chat, and then we'll have time at the end to get back to, sharing a little bit about the different platforms and maybe something you've learned in the past or that you've learned from today. So, the first part that I posted on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago on my newsletter, um, just a quick recap on how I can be your quiet support tool and use it for your personal growth, but also it can help in your business. So, um, like journaling prompts, how it can help us to reflect personally and then build self-awareness. This can also be in your business life too. If you are working on a certain presentation or a certain topic or idea, journaling some ideas down, and then even using it for different AI prompts, putting that in there. And then how to practice speaking up by using AI. And you can use this for like your private little personal chat. So you put in your introduction or something that you want to say at a meeting or networking, and it could be your personal rehearsal partner. And for introverts, that's cool because sometimes we feel weird when we have to practice a presentation or our little infomercial in front of someone, but we can just practice recording it or chatting with our little bot here. And then the third one is how AI can help us to stop overthinking and organize our thoughts so that we have nice clarity. We can get a little jumbled at certain times, we can get stuck. This helps us to sort out our thoughts a little bit. And then today we're just going to explore some more AI and see how we can show up and be visible without having to be bold or loud or noisy. But this always fits our personality. So the first thing that I want to cover is just one of the big myths out there is that I was just mentioning, visibility needs to be bold and loud, and you have to post a lot and be consistent every single day. But that's not always the way we work. So we can talk to our chatbot and say, okay, this is the way I want to share my content. How do you think I can come across confident yet quiet and bold, but not noisy? How can I come across in a different manner than everybody else? Like I want to stand out in a quiet, unique way. And you've heard me say this before. I want to stand in my quiet power, whether I'm in person or I'm showing up on social media or a virtual call. We want to stand in our quiet power. And so you can talk with your bot and find out, how are the ways that I can stand out? instead of being like everybody else. So it definitely can look different, and that's a good thing. So yeah, and we have we're very deep thinkers, so we want to take the time to have that internal thought and then process it with our little chatbot. And then some of the examples that you can share in your AI. And I know, I mentioned the journal entry, so you can take a journal entry that you've already had or you're thinking about, either that or a voice memo, and ask AI, hey, can you help turn this into a LinkedIn post? Or what I've been doing lately is create a video on this topic with these 3 points, maybe a script of how can I organize my thoughts so I'm not bouncing all over the place? How can I capture the audience within the first 3 to 5 seconds? Because a lot of times when you see a video, if it's not going to capture your attention, people swipe through. So you can ask it a lot of different things. How can you turn this into a good post for whatever platform you're using? I chose LinkedIn for this one. Another topic is, here is a topic about something. Can you help me write a short article that sounds natural and approachable? And you can also ask it to, like write it in like a first grade level, second grade level, because a lot of times that's the way we read and understand. So just very natural and approachable is more of a lower level. And there's nothing wrong with telling it to do that, because sometimes especially if you're in a certain industry, you have like a lot of jargon and you want to take that out so anyone can understand when they're reading it. Um, let's see. And I also mentioned, just using AI to help me come across more clear and to the point, especially on my newsletters, but also on my videos, so I can get the attraction and not have people swipe past my videos. Um, and then I recently, actually this week, I used it for, I want to reach out more to companies and corporations who have ERGs, like employee resource groups. I want to talk with the HR directors or whoever can make the decisions that bring in speakers into their companies to enhance their different programs. So, the wellness program, the health program, um, just more inclusion for introverts, extroverts kind of thing. So I was using that to be able to send out a free resource to these directors, so that it's like, I'm not going to say, okay, here's a free resource. Now hire me. I just want to send out the resource and start to create that connection, that relationship, so that hopefully in the future, when we connect on social media, they will see that I'm posting about these educational topics and that I speak on these things, and that will come in as a return on my investment. So I was using it for that. Now, let's just take a moment. We'll do a little reflection exercise. Take a second to think. What is one message or idea that you've been wanting to share, whether it's with someone personally or on social media, but maybe you haven't mustered up the courage yet? And how can you use AI to maybe work out some of the details with that? So just take a moment, take a deep breath, pause. You can jot down your idea. If you feel so inclined, you can share it in the chat, but you don't have to if it's personal. So I'll just take a moment to let you write down something if that works for you. So
Can you say it again, please?
sure. Yeah, so take a moment to think about what is one idea, topic, or conversation that you've been wanting to share, whether it's with someone personally or you've been wanting to share on social media, but you haven't quite mustered up the courage to say that, or because it's a personal post, you haven't posted it yet. I may have mentioned this already before, but it helps with taking off the pressure for if especially if you're the business owner or you're running like Angela's running her nonprofit, it takes the pressure off of you having to create all of the content and overthinking instead of sitting there and overthinking and mulling on all these ideas and thoughts and words, we can use AI to our advantage. All right. So next we'll go to simplifying your work life. And I mean, I guess this all goes for simplifying your work life too, but this is just like your day-to-day workload or your business load or even your personal, you're balancing your personal with your work. So one thing I've learned is that AI can reduce a lot of mental clutter that drains our energy, especially as introverts. An example is, so we've been talking about articles or videos, but if you have an email you're wanting to respond to, you can create the email and then you can put it into ChatGPT and just say something like, make this sound professional yet warm, or however you want to respond. So just take a time to write a couple paragraphs of what you want to say and then put it in there. And then, of course, because we want to make it sound like us, we have to edit it again and make sure that there's no typos. And then summarizing a long meeting transcript. So when I'm on this call or any other call that I'm recording, I have that AI companion on, which will, I don't, if you've ever used it on Zoom, it organizes your points and whoever was talking and kind of what they said. So it's helpful because if you want to put a transcript in the video, it's very helpful for people to just refer to, okay, Lonnee said this or Sabrina said this or whatever. And then like I did that earlier today, I was watching a sermon and I wanted to remember a quote. So I went through the transcript and it showed by like every couple minutes or something. I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I didn't even think about that." And then I remembered, I was like, "Oh, well, I have this AI feature, so maybe I could do that." So that's really cool. But I believe there is a way to have the full transcript recorded and then put um into your YouTube video. Or maybe YouTube does that. I'm not quite sure.
So you can't download it. You can copy it and paste it into another document.
Creating an outline for a presentation or even a proposal or whatever, this has been a lifesaver for me. And actually, it's been a lifesaver for a lot of things. Like I was mentioning, the videos, the newsletters, the proposals, the free resources. I'm just blown away. It almost feels like cheating sometimes. We've all mentioned this before. You have to edit it so it sounds like you and your real voice. Um, and yeah, and I mentioned this already. I put notes in here, but the resource that I was creating, I was just blown away by that too. And how it saved me like probably 30 to 45 minutes because I would have just sat there like Googling things and then, oh, that's good. I'll put that in my document. And then, how can I add to this like a real life example or story that I've experienced or someone else has shared with me. A pro tip is think of AI as your quiet assistant. It's no one is flashy or loud or telling you what to do, pointing their finger. It's just your quiet little helpful assistant in the background so you can focus your energy on the things that really matter. That is the biggest thing that has helped me is like, okay, I start to overthink whatever I need to do. And then I realized I have this quiet little assistant that can help me. So I can put those thoughts in there or just even jot them down on a little journal paper just to get them off my mind if they're personal or whatever's been bothering me. And then I can move on to my business and create saving time and money and how can I help more people? So this last piece is about using AI to support your career or your business in a bigger way. So um, one that honors your natural rhythm and your energy. So you can ask AI things like, how can I set up boundaries with my manager or with my boss and respond in a kind yet professional way? So if you're thinking maybe a comeback for something and you're like, oh, that sounds way harsh, put it in ChatGPT or whatever service you use and say, I want to come off loving, kind, because I am that kind of person. But sometimes when I just respond, it comes out in a disrespectful manner. So how can I respond and be kind and professional and respectful? And talking about respect also is what is a respectful way to ask for more time between meetings? So if you do work at a job or if you are running your meetings and um, people like to go over on meetings, how can you set up time that allows you 5, 10, 15 minutes in between? And if you can schedule that, that is even more amazing because if you do go over your time in one call, at least you still have 5 minutes to regroup, to walk around, get some water or fresh air or whatever it might be. But you can always put that into your chatbot. Like, what is a respectful way to ask for more time between meetings? Or if you're talking to yourself, how can I, if you're the boss, how can I schedule more time in between meetings? Or how can I stay on track instead of going over? Because, like on these calls, I don't like to go over an hour because you've set this time, I've set this time, and I know you have things to do afterwards. So I want to respect your time. Another one is how can I improve communication skills with my boss, my team leader, or your spouse, your kids? How can I improve these communication skills? So that's just a simple personal one, or it can be professional one too. Um, and so an example would be uh, I'm an introvert who gets drained by too many back-to-back meetings. Can you help me write a polite email to ask for more breathing time in my schedule? And if you're talking to yourself, that's great too. Suggestions on how I can keep on my time schedule. So all of these tips can be very helpful yet empowering, and they should be empowering because you're saving up your time, your resources, your brain power to do the things that matter most, to connect with the people that matter most, to help those people grow in whatever area they need to. And of course, it helps you grow as well. So, just doing a little recap from part two is you can build your visibility, whether it's on social media or in your relationships personally. You can ask it to help you to formulate a great post, or if you're struggling on speaking up to a friend or family member, ask it to help you compose a nice, respectful response. The second one is lightening your mental load by asking AI to help you organize your thoughts, a draft, a proposal, an email, whatever it might be. And then using AI to design a work life that fits you best, and not the other way around. Someone else is controlling how it works for you in your schedule. So, a challenge for you this week, and I would love to hear if you're new. Well, I think everyone's been using ChatGPT or AI, but if you are trying a different service this week and you want to respond and let me know how it goes. A fun challenge that you could try is try drafting a social media post, writing a tricky email, or just asking for prompts like journaling, reflection prompts, and see how it helps you move forward, how quickly you can break through something that you're stuck with.